Welcome to my D&D Beyond educational homebrewing tutorial. I'm Nosfero, and today we look at a very cool D&D Beyond feature, Token Custom Stat Blocks. When using the D&D Beyond interface, you are limited to the sections they allow. But not only that, it takes a long time to make a creature from scratch. This is especially true when it comes to boss creatures, as their stat blocks can get quite complex. Also, what if you found the perfect creature stat block on some website and only have a few minutes before game time? What if I told you you would be able to pull in that creature's stat block in an instant? Are you ready? Because we are about to begin. Creating monsters, especially complex ones like implementing a Ruin Knight, is an exercise in patience and determination. Not only that, but you must know how to implement all of the role blocks and how each spell needs to be addressed. This takes time and a love for D&D, but mostly a lot of time. While I always make time for D&D, I don't always have a lot of it. So spending my whole night creating a single monster isn't something I really want to be doing. I didn't believe I had a choice until I discovered the custom token stat blocks. When you're logged into a campaign as a DM, you can open up any token by clicking on it, and then right-clicking Custom Stat Block. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see here, I am in D&D Beyond, and I am logged into a campaign as a DM. I'm going to open up my token side, and you can see here I have a few custom tokens. Also, in my scene, I have a particularly ferocious dragon sitting here. This is an adult red dragon, and this will be our baseline token for comparisons. In my other browser tabs, I have the same adult red dragon stat blocks from D&D Beyond and Roll20. I will show you now how to copy in the stat block from D&D Beyond into one of my tokens first. So let me click on that tab, and I'm going to highlight the entire stat block. I'm going to copy it. Now let me head back over here, and let's modify the bag of holding token. I'm going to click the little gear icon. I already had something there. Let me go ahead and now click the Create Custom Stat Block button. And it pops up an editor that there are no instructions on how to use it. Let me paste in everything I just copied from the other tab. As you can see here, the formatting just looks okay, but let's see what happens when we actually save it. The save button here is this little hourglass or magnifying glass. Let's click that. And now all of a sudden it looks like the adult red dragon stat block. So I'm going to go ahead and close that editor, and I'm going to drag that token in. If we right-click that token, we can see that the AC of 19 and the HP of 256 is already filled in. Let's take a look at that stat block. And there it is. All the information that we copied in. Even clickables. So let's take a look at a clickable here. 18d6. That's a lot to roll, and it managed to do it. He even got the name correct. I would say that's a pretty good success, wouldn't you? Let's open up the actual red dragon stat block. Pretty close. Not the same. Looks a little bit better. But they were very close. The same coloring, the same kind of clickables. Very cool. But we already had access to the adult red dragon from D&D Beyond. What if we found something from a different website, say Roll20? So let's copy from Roll20 instead. I'm going to select the entire stat block, copy it, head back to my campaign scene. Let's go over here and let's edit that bag of holding, delete the custom stat block that we just had, and create a new one. So it gives us a blank editor. Click inside, let's paste it. Already I can tell that the editing doesn't look great. Now, what's important is after we save it. So let's click the save button. And that is clearly not the same. It looks like it's clickable and it looks like it's usable, but not formatted the same way. Doesn't look quite as nice. Let's drag that bag of holding into the scene and take a look. So I'm going to right click it, and we can already see here it got the HP right, but it did not get the AC right. Now that's fixable. Just have to do it every token. Let's take a look at the stat block. Okay, it does look the same as we saw it when we saved it. What happens when I click something? When I click, say, an attack roll for a bite, it just does a roll. Did the right numbers, but just does a roll. What about damage for a claw? Once again, it rolled the correct numbers, which is nice, but it's not getting the naming right. As a DM, I find myself editing creatures often to challenge my players. So this is important for me to try and find something that will allow me to achieve consistency whilst also not spending a lot of time creating every single one in the D&D Beyond system. And in my searches through lots of forums, I finally found The Monsterizer by RPGbot.net. Now, this is a web tool that does a full stat block generator and customizer. So let me, for an apples to apples comparison, load up the adult red dragon. And there it is. So I've typed in adult red and allowed it searched down. Now I've loaded all the basic stats, the defenses, it's loaded up everything that should be there. So I could customize it, but I want to compare it to what we've already seen. So let's go ahead and switch over to the stat block. And now I'm going to copy it. So highlight this whole thing. Right click and copy. Head back. Let's delete that bag of holding from the scene, and let's edit by clicking that gear icon, right? Delete the custom stat block and recreate. Paste that stat block in there. That looks better. What happens when I save? Doesn't have the nice looking background, but everything looks pretty similar to what is natively in D&D Beyond. Let's drag that token in there and let's take a look at the right-click menu. Is the AC correct? The AC is correct, and the HP is correct too. Let's take a look at the monster stat block, and it's rollable. Cool. All right, let's take a look. Let's roll the bite. It says hit for a multi-attack. Okay, well, the name's wrong. The stat roll is correct. What about bite? Damage. Okay, no. What about claw? Okay, so clearly something slightly off about how this whole thing is working. However, it's still rolling the correct numbers and it's formatted quite nicely. I would say that's a win. What about a creature that is not standard within D&D Beyond? I've created one of my own custom creatures in this web tool. Now I've copied the JSON off camera and I'm going to load it into the web tool. That's easy to do by going over to the Export tab and clicking on the Import Export section. Let me paste in and click Import. Now I can just go to the stat block and see that my animated guardian statue is here. Let me highlight the whole thing, copy it. Let's head over to my scene. I'm going to delete that bag of holding. And let's do an edit, delete the custom stat block, and create it again. Paste. Now that looks pretty good. It looks pretty similar to what we did with the adult red dragon from the web tool. What happens when I click save? Well, it's looking quite nice. It's formatted quite well. The stat block's kind of small. So great. Let's pull that bag of holding in. And it picked up an AC of 14 and 52 HP. What does it actually have? 14 and 52. Great. What happens when I click slam attack? Okay, it's not right. But it still rolled the correct numbers. Let's see what happens if I roll for damage. It rolls the right numbers for damage, but uses the wrong name. Now, that's okay. I would prefer it for it to be 100% accurate, but that does not detract from how useful this has already been. So as always, I'm going to keep playing around and try and learn more. But I knew that I needed to bring this feature to all of your attention because it makes my life as a DM so much easier. To sum up our video, today we learned about custom token stat blocks that are accessible from the DM's view when we are managing a scene in a D&D Beyond campaign. Any stat block you find on the internet can be copied in and it will work, but the formatting might not be consistent. I also introduced a web tool for producing stat blocks for bespoke creatures that allows for nicely formatted stat blocks, and they're easily imported into the custom stat blocks for tokens. Thanks for watching. Until next time. If you liked what you saw, click that like button. If you enjoyed the content and want to be notified when I post more, hit that subscribe button. If you have something specific you want me to homebrew, contact me through Discord at Gaming with Nosfro or via email, both of which can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching. Until next time.